Welcome back, gamers, to Budget Arcade, the number one free-to-play video game review podcast in the world. I'm your host, Mark, and in these off weeks, or every other week, I don't know if you know what an off week was, but every other week we review a free-to-play video game, typically on mobile, but sometimes it's on the console or the PC, and we rate and review it, and like most things in life, it's not any good. But we power through it, and we bring you the review so you don't have to play it if it is indeed garbage. In these weeks, the off weeks from those episodes, I take you through video game news and what's happening in video games, what's coming up in the video game world as far as releases go, and what I've been playing, for the past couple weeks. I've played some good games, so I'll take you through some recent news regarding video games, and then we'll dive into the calendar, and I'll send you off with what I've been playing. So in the past couple weeks, Sony announced that because of their PS5 stock shortages, which it could be for any number of reasons why there's such a stock shortage of the PS5, it's caused the company to begin producing more PS4 consoles. Now, it's a bit of a mixed bag and doesn't bode well necessarily for Sony in the long term, especially their PS5 numbers. But they've decided, hell, hey, maybe we'll catch some gamers, who are just looking to play on a Sony console rather than the PS5, even though there are a lot of PS5 titles that are also being made for the PS4. So if you can do without the graphical improvements and some of the controller enhancements, the PS4 may be an okay system to play that game you've been looking for on. Now you can't play Ratchet and Clank or Returnal, but you can still get a PS4, as you can't really get a PS5, and that's kind of crazy considering it's been over a year since the console launched, and Sony's still dealing with not being able to produce enough to supply the demand. So yeah, that's Sony's deep into it, and there's a report that the PS5 had sold almost 13.5 million units since it launched in November 2020, and just in the second quarter of 2021, the PS5 sold 3.5 million units. So then I believe quarter two is when I got my PS5 as well. So it's a bit odd that we're still dealing with production issues for this console, considering the launch was over a year ago, but we are still in a pandemic, and that could have something to do with it. I don't know, but we'll see what 2022 holds for the PS5. A lot of good games coming, so Sony better get their heads out their butt and find some chips and people to put these consoles together, so the supply can meet the demand. Back on some Sony news again. They've pulled all of their PlayStation Now gift cards from retailers worldwide, and a lot of people believe that signifies that Sony's streaming Game Pass equivalent type service is very near, but it's said that the subscription service that Sony will be launching to rival Game Pass, it's got the code name of Spartacus, and it will combine PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, with the PlayStation Plus name being retained, and then Sony completely dropping PlayStation Now. But but this report I'm looking at says that Sony wants to focus on the other PlayStation Plus gift cards, and so you can still redeem if you have a PlayStation Now gift card. You can still redeem it. It's just these retailers won't be selling it anymore, and this is likely because Sony is going to be launching their game service here within the next couple months. I would say probably by the summer. E3, which is going to be all virtual again. They haven't had an in-person E3 in 4 years now, I think 3-4 years. But it's rumored that Sony will announce at E3 or their show that is a part of E3, like they did last year, where they didn't do it last year. But anyways, they had a show last year where they showcased a bunch of games that were coming. But it's believed that they will showcase the service during the summer, one of the summer months, with a launch shortly thereafter. So they're getting ready, and we'll see what the price point is on it and how good it is off of the from the jump, and see if it does rival a Game Pass or even come close to rivaling a Game Pass. It doesn't, in my opinion, this codename Spartacus service doesn't need to be Game Pass equivalent right off the bat. It just needs to be close, and it needs to show promise. And I need to see what is Sony plan, 6 months down the road for the service, in order to get me on board with it. Is because, man, I've seriously been thinking about dropping GameFly. I do have the PS Now subscription service, and so I collectively pay $30 a month for both of those, GameFly and PS Now, and I get pretty much any game that I want, but with GameFly it's still physical media, and I don't get it day one. Once I determine I want a game, I have to wait like a good 4 or 5 days to get that game. And that's where Game Pass is very appealing, is that you browse their library and you pick a game, and a lot of them are day one titles, and they're games that have day and date release that you can download, and that is very appealing to me, and has got me looking at a series. I'd probably get a Series S because I don't play the Xbox at all that my current Xbox all that often, so I'd probably get a Series S to save some money. But I would I have been looking at that and kind of debating, do I want one, and do I want to dive into the Game Pass? It's because I'm a big Sony guy. I love my PS5. I love the Sony console. I love how Sony prioritizes their first party titles, and most of them are single player, and the online offerings are there, but their focus is on storytelling. So I'm a big Sony guy, but Game Pass does look appealing, and I hope that this codename Spartacus service can at least rival that, and show promise once it's released. So yeah, if you have a PS Now card, you can still use it. It's just you won't be able to find them in stores anymore. So on the flip side of Sony's offering PS4, or Sony's making more PS4 titles, or not titles, consoles. There was a a report this past week that Microsoft is no longer producing their Xbox One consoles. And it's like two different, both two different sides of the coin, opposite ends of the spectrum. But reports say that they're going to stop making the Xbox One console, or they did stop making the Xbox One console. Microsoft stopped producing the Xbox One X back in July of last year, but they still produce the Xbox One S up until the end of 2021. And their focus is on the Series X and S. And that is, even though there are shortages of these consoles, so Microsoft they're not immune to the shortage either. It's just they're going to put all of their effort into making their latest console. And I think Sony is too. It's just, Sony's taken a bit different approach to it. Like their focus is likely, their major focus is likely all on this service they're about to launch. And so they understand that the demand for the PS5 is so great that they still have to make the PS4. The demand for the Xbox One Series X and S is high. I don't think it's as high as the PS5, and that's not me, being fanboy. It's just me acknowledging that, in my opinion, I believe more people want a PS5 than they do a Series X console. But you can't really find a Series X console in stores or online. But if you look deep enough and hard enough, you can find a Series S console. So that's where Microsoft is at the moment, and they're putting all of their eggs in the current the current console, the Series XS, and Sony is taking a different approach, and we'll see how that works out for both of them. I don't think it will be a shock by the end of this current console generation that Microsoft outsold Sony in consoles. It's just simply because the Series S is not a much different console than the Xbox One X. The improvements for the Series S aren't that much greater than what the Xbox One X was offering. So I don't know. They're not quite equal, but they're not hugely different either. Largely different. So yeah, that's a little bit of console news to get you started, and we'll see how it plays out. I don't think there's gonna be. I don't think it would shock anybody to have Microsoft win this. I'll put quotes around win this current console generation from a sales point of view, just because they had two different consoles available at launch, and one was more readily accessible than both the higher tier consoles, both by Sony and Microsoft. So yeah, that's it. Let's dive into the video release calendar, and we're gonna go over what's coming in February. February's a good month for video games. We got launching on February 1st is Life is Strange, the Remastered collection. That's for your older console generations, the PS4, the Xbox One, and the Switch. And it's also coming to...
You coming to bed, hon?
Yep, honey, I'll be right there. Just gotta turn out the light. Ow! 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 Ah!
Some things never change. Like your kids always leaving tiny toys on the floor for you to step on. And Geico saving folks lots of money on their car insurance.
Sweetie, I think I left the downstairs light on.
Please don't make me go.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
PC and Stadia, but the Life is Strange collection. I played the first game. It was okay, but if you're more of a cinematic storytelling gamer, Life is Strange is probably right up your alley. And then our first big title of the year, Dying Light 2: Stay Human, launches on February 4th for all of your consoles, the PC, the PS5, the Series X and S, the PS4, the Xbox One, and the Switch. The Switch is getting the cloud version of the game. But one of my most anticipated games from the past year is Dying Light 2. The first Dying Light was such a great game, and it was such a breath of fresh air as far as both open world games go, first-person shooter games go, and the zombie genre. And I just hope that Dying Light 2, and I've stayed away. I've watched the launch trailers and whatnot, but I've stayed away from real story details about the game. Is because I want to go in and fresh and just play this game. Me and my daughter played the first one. She's a real big zombie fan for whatever reason. That might come back to haunt her and later in life, but she'd watch me play the first game, and she would just love the ability to kick zombies in the face and jump off of a roof and land on a zombie and kill him. And it just, Dying Light, the first Dying Light was a really great game. I think it launched back in 2018, 2017 maybe. Might be before that, but it got my game of the year that year that it launched. I thought that was the best game that launched that year. So that's out on February 4th. You can look forward to a review on this podcast at some point in the coming months. And there was a report earlier this week that the game totaled 500 hours to complete everything to do in the game. And then the developer, there was some blowback. They're like, people are up in arms, like it's a bad thing that you pay $70 for a game and how dare you get 500 hours out of it. But there's blowback, and the developer came back and said, yeah, that's for everything. That's not for the story. The story alone will take you right around 20 to 25 hours to complete, which is a standard, campaign mode. But, everything, see everything, do everything, get everything, 500 hours. And that's, honestly, that's what you should be getting when you pay the amount of money that we pay for games, and it's an open world. We should be getting 500 hours out of being able to do things. It sounds like a lot, but, there's something to be said for being able to spend that much time on a game and get your money's worth. That's just my opinion. What else we got? Let's see. Game Edge of Eternity launches on February 10th for the PS5, the Series X, PS4, and the Xbox One. Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires launches on February 15th for the PS5, Series X, and S, PS4, the Xbox One, and the Switch. And then we got we got PS5 exclusive, or I should say a Sony exclusive, is Horizon Forbidden West, the Horizon sequel to the 2016 game, I think it was 2016. That launches on February 18th for the PS5 and the PS4. That'll be that's also on the list. And I'll be, February is going to be bogarting all my time. But let's see. We got Destiny 2. The Witch Queen is an expansion for Destiny 2. And that launches on all your consoles. We got Elden Ring. Launches on PS5, the Series X, the PS4, and the Xbox One on February 25th. The Steam Deck. This is not a game. This is a console. But the Steam Deck, the portable PC portable Steam console, called the Steam Deck, is supposed to launch in February. We'll see if that holds true, but it's supposed to launch in February and rival the Switch with, and you'll be able to play all your Steam titles anywhere that you have an internet connection. But yeah, that's it. It's that's pretty much all your major offerings, and we'll see, if all these games end up. I'm a bit surprised that Horizon Forbidden West is going to stay in February. Not stay. I mean, honestly, they probably could have moved it up into January. But I think Dying Light 2 is is going to be such a big game that it could eat into Horizon Forbidden West sales. They're two different genres. They're both open world, but one's third person, one's first person. Zombies, futuristic dinosaur things. Anyways, I'll be interested to see the sales for both of those games. So let's talk a little bit about what I've been playing, and I started it back in November, I think. December. But it quickly got my heart, and I put it on my top 5 games of the year list, and it's Kena, Bridge of Spirits for the PS5. I absolutely love the gameplay. It's very Breath of the Wild-esque type gameplay, but the combat is so good in it. It's so engaging, and it's difficult. It's not, you really have to be comfortable with, what you're doing to excel in the combat. Now, you can, most of the time, get out of a combat situation by just rolling around and dodging things and all this. But as the story progresses, and I finished the game, so I went back and finished it, and I still had a couple hours to go. But you play as Kena, and you're a spirit guide. You're responsible for helping spirits pass from the physical realm to the spirit realm, and the spirits that you're helping are kind of caught in purgatory, I guess. And it's it's an Asian theme where you're from this village in some Asian country, and the music is fantastic in it. The locales are awesome. Like, you just look around, you're running through, and it's open world, so it's you're just running from point A to point B, and you just look around, and there's waterfalls and there's mountains, and you can interact with a lot of your environment. And it's almost to a fault gets a lot of its inspiration from Breath of the Wild, but I do believe that there is enough new things, like the puzzles in this game are awesome, and require thought and kind of, chess-like thinking, where you got to think, okay, if I do this, what am I going to do after I do that? Like, two steps ahead type thing. But it's a fantastic game. I really loved it. I wish it was longer, just simply because the gameplay is so good in it. The story is okay, you know. It's not Guardians of the Galaxy level of story, which was probably the best story I played last year, but it is a fantastic game, and if you have a PS5, I highly encourage. I think it's only on the PS5, but I highly encourage you to play it. You can get it. I think it's only $30 on the PS Store, and you know, just experience it. Experience the game. It's Sony, a first party title like it. They don't have a first party title like it. There's a lot of aspect of the gameplay where I could see a Ratchet and Clank doing some of the same things, but you know, using the environment to do certain things, and collecting these little blobs. They're called rot, and you can collect hats for them. They follow you around, and you use the rot to your advantage throughout the game. It's really good, and I wanted to finish it. I just hadn't finished it. I played it. I played enough to know that it was one of my top games of 2021, but I did want to finish it. And the PS5 had a really good 2021. You know, if we go back and look, you know, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, Returnal, which was the PS5 exclusive third-person shooter, and then Kena Bridge of Spirits. Those are all 3 first-party titles that are really, really good. And if you got a PS5, I encourage you to play all of them. But so I was playing Kena. I'm now gonna wait on Dying Light 2 before I really dive into another game. I got some PS Now downloads that I've got that I can occupy my time with, but yeah, that's, you know, that's what I've been playing, and I'm glad I finished it. Hopefully, if you've got a PS5, you can get at it too. So if you want to get at the podcast, you can find the podcast on all your social media platforms at Budget Arcade or at Budget Arcade Games, and you know, you find us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We're on YouTube, so if you want to, for whatever reason, listen to the podcast on YouTube, you can do that. If you want to support the podcast, you can, we have a Patreon. You can join our Patreon. It's patreon.com/budgetarcade. And you can donate some money to the podcast, and when you do, you get access to our exclusive Patreon channel and our Discord, which you can also talk with our awesome listener base there. And we have a ton of good times, you know, just talking games, movies, television, you name it, we talk about it. But we have a really good community in the Budget Arcade Discord. But if you choose to give to the Patreon, you get access to the Patreon channel and the Discord, which only those who have supported the show monetarily get. And you get to interact kind of behind the scenes with everybody you hear on the podcast. We also have some T-shirts available for purchase. You can find the link in the show notes. We have a couple different designs. I'm partial to the #FreeMark design, but we do have some other ones, so make sure you check those out. Our music is provided by Our music is provided by Stimmage, and you can find his music at Metroid Metal. And catch us next week as we review, but it's Rocket League Sideswipe. I think that's what it's called, Rocket League Sideswipe. Yeah, Rocket League Sideswipe, which it's a spoiler, it's a good game. So make sure you tune in for that, and we'll catch you next week.